I'm Scott Parent, and this is Relevantly Speaking. Hi everyone, welcome to the show. On this episode, we're speaking to Brian Williams. I met Brian a few months back at Affiliate Summit, and he had some interesting ideas about outsourcing. Let's take a look. Tell us a little bit about Wise Williams and what you do.
Well, I've been a professional internet marketer since, well, this will age myself a bit, way back to 1994. And at the time I was working for big corporations, in fact a large automotive company you may have heard of called Toyota Corporation. And from there, I've just continued to stay in the business, work for some small boutique agencies, and today I'm doing a lot of consulting, and I'm really teaching people how to leverage the power of generating leads and sales on the internet and outsourcing all of that to well-trained professionals for an amazing rate overseas. And we had talked just before this, Scott, and you'd asked me, well, what's really changed in this business and where it's going? It's going that direction, where small businesses, solopreneurs, mid-sized companies, even large companies are learning to understand how to harness the power of training people to do the tasks that have to be done repetitively well over and over again to generate their results, and doing that with offshore resources. So
it's interesting. You're not even necessarily offering tactics. You're training people on a whole new business model.
Absolutely. And there's so much involved in it. And a lot of people, they hear the buzzword outsourcing has kind of become a buzzword now. And it means something different to every one of us. And it's very complicated to actually put together and do it right. Okay, there's services that you can go and do what I call out-tasking, where you can hire somebody for $50 to maybe build a blog for you. That's out-tasking. When you really do outsourcing, you've got a team of people that work for you on your behalf to generate your results on a consistent basis. And you're not just out-tasking, because that puts you in the position of having to understand this business, manage all these components, and honestly, you're a small business owner, or even as an internet marketer, you need to run your business. And so many people at a show like what we're at today, they're internet marketers, but they're not internet marketing businessmen, or they look at this as a business. And the first thing someone told me, actually Brad Fallon, you probably know of, he said, Brian, you've got to stop doing what you're good at. And I thought about that for a minute. I'm like, well, why would I stop doing what I'm good at? What he meant was, you need to train other people to do that for you, because if you're good at it, you can train people to do it just as well.
That's a really interesting, it makes a lot of sense. But one of those things that obviously on first listen, wait, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah.
If you think about it as a business owner, it makes all the sense in the world.
Absolutely. So obviously you've been around this block for many years. 2010 is here. What are you looking at in terms of trends? What are you keeping an eye on?
I'm keeping an eye on social media. It's been around now for a few years in mass, we'll call it, but this is the year where social media is going to go from, if any year, it's going to go from being a playground to super mega business ground. And we saw last year a lot of corporations starting to use things like Twitter and Facebook and fan pages and what have you. And even the year before, just a little bit, this is going to be a year where every single major company, all the executives at major companies, I get calls all the time now from doctors and attorneys and corporate executives. How do I use Twitter? How do I use LinkedIn? I have a LinkedIn account because someone told me 5 years ago. I've never used it before. What do I do with it? Because they're hearing it more and more now. So that's a big trend, obviously. The other big trend is just the tools are so awesome that we have now for tracking, not just analytics, but tracking the trends, really. I mean, Google provides awesome free tools. And so because there's so much more in market intelligence, we have to be much more smart about how we generate business online, because every one of us has these tools. So one of the trends is having people on your team that understand how to use those tools and just keep, kind of a leg up over the competition.
We shot this interview a couple of months ago, and at the time, his view on outsourcing caught me a little bit off guard. In fact, you can actually hear me fumble through an awkward, oh, that makes sense. Well, I've now had some time to think about it, and I'm not sure that I personally agree that you should outsource things that you are good at, unless you needed to scale your business up. Now, sure, Brian makes a good point that it may be cost-effective to teach people the things that you know, But at what point does the quality of your end product suffer because you subbed it out to the lowest bidder? Now, Brian has obviously done well for himself, so maybe he's on to something. Do you have an opinion? You can head on over to blog.mediatrust.com and leave a comment. Now, that's our show for this week. I'm Scott Parent. Thank you for watching.